Oh, hi, today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm and we're going to be talking about sweet potatoes. We grow a lot of sweet potatoes here. We do variety trials and different things, trying to work with commercial growers and with gardeners. And speaking of you, gardeners, I think this can be a crop that would be a good one for you. And sometimes you don't think about putting that out in the garden. It does take up a lot of space and sometimes people stay away for that reason. As you can see here in this little patch, it's nothing but sweet potato vines. They've grown over and they've covered over. But hey, that's a lot less weeding for you to think about, so that's a good thing. Sweet potatoes are actually pretty easy to grow. You buy the slips, you put them in the ground. You probably space sweet potatoes out, each row about 3 feet apart. And within the row, you want to space them anywhere from 1 foot to 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet apart. Like I said, and like you can see, they really vine out. So if you can keep the weeds out for the first few weeks, they're going to cover up and you're not going to have any weed problems. Sweet potatoes are one that really don't have a lot of insect or disease problems. Occasionally deer want to munch on them, and that can happen to you, but they might give up after a while, and they grow so fast that it's really not going to do too much damage to them. Now, sweet potatoes are a tropical plant, and so they do require really warm temperatures. So in most of Virginia, we're going to want to put those out probably in June, middle to late June. And you've got to expect a long growing season for these, at least 90 days, and some varieties are more like 110, 115 days. So expect a long growing season, probably harvesting in October sometime. Some good varieties for the home gardener are ones like Beauregard, Covington, Puerto Rico, O. Henry. Those might be some worth trying, and they can get nice size that you can use for pies, and you can just have them to eat also for baking potatoes. Overall, really nice plant to grow. Now, as we think about harvesting, let's look at some that we're getting ready to pull out of the ground. So we've moved to a different part of the farm to show harvesting, because this is a field that's a variety trial and it's ready to harvest. These plants have been clipped to get a lot of the excess foliage around so we can harvest easier. And you can do that in your garden just by clipping off the foliage right, a day or two before you're going to harvest. And one thing that you'll notice here, this soil at this farm is a sandy loam, and sweet potatoes do very well in this type of soil or sandy soil. And not so much in clay soil, but you can add compost and organic matter to your clay soil and hopefully amend it so that it will be better for sweet potatoes. And if you ever went to try sweet potatoes in a raised bed, that can be a nice situation. Those raised beds probably need to be about 12 inches deep, and you can make them out of wood and fill them with topsoil and compost. You can also grow in containers like a bushel basket. Maybe put 1 sweet potato slip in a bushel basket and you can get potatoes out of there. Well, what we're here talking about is how to harvest. And so as it's coming into the time before the first frost of the year, you want to harvest these and get them out of the ground because they can be damaged by frost. And what we'll do is just take something like this, a shovel or a fork, and dig right into the ground, and kind of on each side, keep about 18 inches away from the plant. Kind of gently lift that up so that we start to see some sweet potatoes come up. And then kind of clear away a little bit. You start to see some small ones, some little bit larger ones here. This particular variety's got a little bit of red to it. There we go. There's one nice sweet potato right out of there. So the sweet potato, after you get it out of the ground, you want to brush it off a little bit. And you've got to be real careful too when you're digging these. They can scar very easily because they're very delicate at this point. And you really want to cure these sweet potatoes. You want to get them into an environment that's high in humidity, around 80 or 90% humidity, and that's fairly warm, around 85 or 90 degrees. And you want to keep it in there for about a week, 7 to 10 days. And at that point, the sugars start to mature and you get some scabbing over and protective skin, and then they're ready to eat. Well, for more information or for more detailed information about sweet potato production, please contact your local county extension office and talk to your master gardener. They'll give you a hand on that. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins, and we'll see you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu.